All right, so hello, my name is Janice McCabe. Hello, world. I used to live in Rotterdam. Het spijt me, my Dutch was never good, so I'll do this in English. I'm at Janice McCabe on Twitter. Would you raise your hand if you currently follow me? Yeah? Okay, thank you, Val. I am going to cover a lot of ground, very, very much ground. In 20 minutes, I'm going to be running around. Please talk to me about any of the products that are real-world concepts, ideas and idealism that have been built this year by my startup, or any of the concepts and ideas that started here when I lived in the Netherlands. Two of the people who are here today were part of an original group of 5 who started nextel.nl. So Martin, Jacqueline, are you still here? Would you please stand up? Thank you. None of what I have done since then would be possible without you, so thank you guys. All right, so let's get started. My presentation is a little bit different. I'm easily kind of bored by the technical presentations, and I was an English major, so I wanted to think about the future of mHealth, and I started just kind of doing some reading and hearing people talk on Twitter, and a lot of people share quotes, right? And a lot of people are Star Wars geeks. Raise your hand if you're a Star Wars geek. Oh, this is going to be a tough presentation. Okay. So this is a Shakespeare quote. How many goodly creatures are there here? How beauteous mankind is. Oh, brave new world that has such people in it. And I'm glad to share the stage with you. Okay, disclaimers. I'm from the States, and my startup is in San Francisco, so of course I have some legal things I have to share. I am not a doctor. I am an e-patient. But I grew tired of talking about my illness, and I wanted to start building the things that I thought we should do, rather than just talk about what doctors shouldn't do to me. So I started at contagionhealth.com this year to build that type of technology. It uses your existing social networks to incentivize healthier, entry-level, everyday behaviors. These are, should I have another glass of water, or should I have that glass of wine? Right now I'm wishing it was the wine. I was an English major, and I studied Shakespeare. Shakespeare is a fascinating master of both the very kind of lowbrow comedy, you know, very, very bawdy things, and this very high-level tragedy of self-discovery and self-identification, very similar to a patient's experience. mHealth, by the way, I believe has the potential to go either way. It could be this great comedy that ends well, or it could be a very great tragedy that doesn't live up to its potential. That, I think, is based in large part on not what we do or say here today, but what we do and say after. All that said, a reminder, don't take yourself too seriously, or this subject. So I'll start the presentation with Shakespeare, Star Wars quotes and images, and some quotes from the person from whom I've learned most, my mom. Okay, so I also don't want to bore you. Okay, some audience questions. Raise your hand if you have a smartphone. Yes, okay, good. Raise your hand if you have 2 smartphones. Oh, raise your hand if you have 3 smartphones. Oh, this is painful. 4? Good Lord, okay. Google, raise your hand. Google smartphone? Okay. Apple smartphone, raise your hand. Okay, other that I haven't mentioned, raise your hand. Okay, someone call out what you have. Sony Ericsson X10, okay. Huh? Okay. All right. So I want to talk about the problems and the challenges ahead of us. We are in dark times indeed. An imperial army holds power. Depending on your perspective, that is either the patients who want everything now, or the doctors who hold all of our information hostage. Okay? Ooh. All right. But small bands of freedom fighters, the nextHealth crew, brave incredible odds. I want to talk about micro-choices and how those odds are not actually as big as we think they are. This is a cookie that I got when I got off the plane in the States at Fort Wayne, Indiana. And I'm thinking, a cookie? You've already put in escalators everywhere so that I don't have to move. And you're rewarding me for sitting on my ass for 4 hours on a plane with a cookie. There's a problem here. But you have many choices every day that cumulatively add up to your overall health and wellness, or the lack of it. And that is where I think we have the greatest potential to use mobile technologies to incentivize healthier behaviors. But I don't think we can do it alone. Healthy behaviors. Can't believe this. This is a Star Wars toaster that puts Darth Vader on your toast, right? Now, are you going to put butter on Vader's face mask? I don't think so. Okay. Shakespeare, dost thou think, because thou art virtuous and you had toast instead of that cookie or donut for breakfast, that you won't have to face that same scary decision again? Fortunately, that's not the case. We make thousands of micro-choices every day that influence our health and that of the people around us. Interestingly enough, service design, I didn't actually buy these things, so there's hope for me yet. This is a Death Star cookie jar. You're going to reach into a Death Star and pull out a cookie? Interesting. Okay, what if every time you opened your Death Star cookie jar, it would tweet that Imperial March theme music? So all of your friends and family would know that you are, sitting on your ass eating another cookie. That might actually be something. So if you're a Star Wars person or a tech person, you want to actually build that, come talk to me. Now, that's an interesting question. Why would you tweet whether or not you're eating a cookie? Why would you share that kind of information? A polar heart monitor, your DNA, your 23andMe genome. And disclaimer, I did a YouTube video of myself opening my results for the first time, which was freaky for me and everyone else involved.
It becomes worse.
It did become worse. It gets way, way worse. So did Röntgen, the inventor of X-ray technology, who then open sourced the technology. He didn't commercialize it, and he discovered it by accident. Torvalds, of course, the Linux founder, and Berners-Lee, the inventor of the web, did they get it wrong? They all gave away their inventions. They all didn't want to commercialize or capitalize on them at an individual level. Does the success of mHealth require making money before open sourcing personal biometrics or metrics? Open question. So, okay, raise your hand if you think that to be globally successful, mHealth requires commercialization. Commercial business models. Okay, thank you. Raise your hand if you think that mHealth will succeed only by an open source, open data exchange format start. Raise your hand if you have no idea what I'm talking about. Okay, sorry, I'll talk to you guys after. So do we need the dark side? Yes. I think we actually need both. I think we need a hybrid model. I think we need apps that make money, we need apps that are open source, and we need to provide the individual user with the choice and control to access both of those formats. So raise your hand if you have a mobile health application on your smartphone. Okay, anyone have more than 5 mobile health apps? Yeah, oh, we're a biased audience, okay. Yeah, and I'm gonna come sell you mine after this. So raise your hand if you have a geolocation application on your smartphone. Okay, thank you. Yeah, 5, do you have more than 5? Yeah, because you have layer, you don't count. Okay, so raise your hand if you have a social networking or social media application on your smartphone. Raise your hand if any of you have an app that combines all 3. Oh, okay, good, good. Did you pay for that? No, it was free. Fascinating, okay. So I paid a little bit for the app that is geolocation and mood rating and social networking and health. Actually, someone paid us to build it, so I guess that counts. But this is Yoda who said, "Judge me by my size, do you?" Oh, and I can't do a Yoda voice, sorry. Why does that even matter? Why does the pricing policy, why does whether an app is $5.99 or 99 cents or free matter? I think we have to make the pricing accessible at that individual level. The ideal number for mHealth planning is 2, 1 application and 1 individual. Now that seems almost impossible to design for, but luckily it's not. Yeah. Okay, so unfortunately we don't know that we have that kind of choice and control. We're not told, we don't talk about it. Who's piloting this ship mHealth that is our personal biometrics communicated to the world? Not really anybody at this point. mHealth, if you look it up in Wikipedia, which of course I did because I realized I didn't actually know what I was talking about here, that happens a lot, says something about wireless devices. I don't actually think that this is the most efficient wireless device for mHealth. I think that this is. The individual is the most efficient wireless device for health, and it is not your fault that we haven't figured out how to program that information and share it here. Okay. So, we don't even know we have it. For open source to work, do you think that people have to feel a spirit of rebellion? Raise your hand if you agree. Yes, okay, that's what I like. All right, especially because I've jet lagged here. Come on, people, help me out. All right, so for those of you who did not raise your hand, do you feel that there has to be a superstructure that we have to kind of go over or under to make open source work? Raise your hand if you agree with that. I'm not framing my question. Okay, just moving on. Okay. As with anything else, open source, there are good and the bad side of the force. And I think we do actually have to have an equal balance of both. We have to have commercial apps and we have to have open source development. And I think that we're failing in both. We're closer to the tragedy than the comedy at this point. We don't know how to harness it for a particularly relevant situation when it really matters to us. And that's unfortunate because these things can be life-saving, as we saw with Ivor's presentation. Darth Vader to Luke, despite the incredible odds, you're beaten, it's useless to resist, don't let yourself be destroyed. Yeah, I don't really buy that. I believe that one person with one application using it in the right way, and by the right way, I just mean the way that it's best for them, can shine a light on a naughty world, Shakespeare. So for the first time, I'm going to talk about an application that Contagion built in partnership with the US health insurer, and I just got the okay to release this. It's called Hands Together. It's a mobile application for your iPhone. What you're seeing here is an international happy map. The application, which is still in the final stages of development, and this is a first of its kind, tiny two-person, bootstrapped, obviously crazy startup, working with a large health insurer, right, top 4 health insurer in the US, to build a mood mapping and rating application that uses social networks to send a gesture of applause, right, a gesture of kindness. It's kind of like an email greeting card. You open the app, you clap through a mood scale with your iPhone in your hands, you send a nice email to a friend or family, you clap through again to rate whether or not you feel differently after you've sent it, and we don't know, this is all a big experiment, and then we drop a smile on the international happy map. Now this seems kind of funny, right, and kind of marketing-esque, but what we want to actually measure is very serious. We want to measure the delta of mood as self-reported by the person who initiates the process after a simple free gesture, and then map the contagious spread of that application's use. That's pretty phenomenal. I want to thank Humana for giving Contagion the chance to build that. I also want to say something interesting because everybody's sharing a lot of stats. And I haven't really done that because I'm not a great numbers person. But I was at my laptop, and there are 291 million Google results for mobile health, in English at least, but I'm using the Dutch, wireless here, so. 461,000 results for mHealth, no spaces. 21,753 photos uploaded to Flickr.com by 3,137 members in the Star Wars group. We can only hope as mobile app builders that we get that kind of traction. 153 pages in the US App Store of healthcare, fitness, and medical apps. 20 per page. That's 4,920 apps total. Why do you really care about all of those numbers? It's a good question. Does anybody really care about those numbers? Yeah. What do they mean? What is the individual context of quantitative statistics? I think that we're guilty in both social media and especially in mobile of stat porn. We just look at the numbers and we get all excited and hot and bothered by the change, and we aren't programming for personal context and relevance. Except we're trying. So this is another app that we built at a hackathon. At the Google Hackathon this summer, me, Andrei Petrov, who is my Contagion co-founder, 2 volunteers, Stig Hackfan and @JetDillo on Twitter. Thank you guys, this is amazing. It's called Help. So this is Help on my iPhone. It's a personal emergency response notification service. Again, it's free. We just built it open source. It counts down. Instead of activating the alert and having to do something extra, you open the app, hit the entry button, and you have to cancel it for it to stop. So, cancel. We didn't cancel. It presets via your contacts or Twitter or Facebook during your sign up, simple text entry field that's the length of a tweet, who you're going to alert when you press or activate Help. Help is on the way. This is the email that is sent to me, automated message with my latitude and longitude coordinates. I was messing around with the speaker dinner as our conversations got hot and heavy last night, so I did this. this is kind of roughly where we were. Again, this was built in a weekend. And we built it just based on the assumption that we wouldn't know best who to contact in an emergency. My Twitter followers would probably know where I am with more specificity than anyone else, including my power of attorney, right? Why can't they use the power of their exponential knowledge to help find me? But that's very individualistic. There I am on the map. Then what happens? Does that really matter to anybody outside of an emergency situation? And I think the answer is yes, but we're really early with that question. And I think the biggest problem that we have with mHealth, in Silicon Valley, they tell you to design for yourself. And if you design for yourself and you'll use it, and maybe your mom will use it, maybe your sister will use it, then you've got a success on your hands. But I don't think that's the case. I think in health, you have to design for the people you care about. Because the truth is, most of us don't care enough about ourselves to change our daily behaviors. We just don't. We do what's easy, we do what's repeated, but if my boyfriend or my mom or my next health friends notice that my mood has changed on Twitter or that I haven't been for a run in 3 days, and they can easily incentivize me just by sending something encouraging to change my behavior, then I'm more likely to do it for them than I would be to do it for myself. This is incredibly powerful data, right? Kind of a funny slide, but when we talk about sharing all of these things and plugging in behavioral networks that motivize healthier behaviors, we are playing in really, really dangerous kind of behavioral economic ground, right? We don't know what's going to happen when we start enabling people to share this kind of data and to actually have power over motivating each other. And really fascinating stuff does happen. So again, is the design n equals 1, or is it 2, one app plus one person? I think mHealth has to be additive in the design phase, but that we should always build for exponential spread. And our social networks are really this circle of narcissism, right? Can we use them for mHealth? I think absolutely the answer is yes. We're trying to get rid of some of these relationships because they're taking up too much of our time. But I think that just means that they haven't been designed for us to use them to live better lives. What you can do, we cannot do, and what we can do, you cannot do, but together, we can do something beautiful. Someone else's mom, a lot of other people's moms, Mother Teresa. Some silly games like Get Up and Move, this is another app that Contagion has built, are merging trends and social behaviors. I think this is the only way to design for mHealth. Not, this is my app, but this is my app, this is our app. Okay, sorry, enough of that. Our bodies are our gardens, and our wills are the gardeners. So I'm going to ask you guys to do something crazy because I promised everybody I would. This is Get Up and Move. It's an application at getupandmove.me, HTTP. Sorry, it's in English for now. It just lets me issue a challenge. I, Jen, will do this if another user will do this. And you can challenge yourself, but we just added that because there are very few people who asked for that. You can see my challenges on the bottom here, and you can see that people are getting really creative with them, right? I will run, I will do push-ups, I will do jumping jacks. This person will shadow box to Kung Fu fighting. We even had someone say, I will donate $10 via mGive to relief in Haiti if you will run for 10 minutes. So this is fascinating. As soon as we opened up the behavioral scale for people to incentivize each other based on what they know about them, behaviors changed. So I'm going to ask you guys to do a Get Up and Move challenge with me. This was put forth by someone on Twitter. Will you just put your hand on your head, please? I'm making an ass of myself, but I do it regularly. And put your other one on your stomach, and pat your hand and rub your belly for like a count of 10 or 15. Come on, hold out in the blue shirt. Please, I'm an idiot. Can you please do this with me? I feel really forlorn. Thank you. All right, how many of you are smiling right now? And how many of you weren't smiling before? Okay, thank you. Experiment over, right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Again, I think we have to program this not just to take good care of ourselves, but to take good care of each other. So that's Get Up and Move. That's a Shakespeare quote. I'm just going to go fast now because I'm way over time. Only commercial mobile's capable of doing this? I don't know. I don't think so. Okay, little chuckles. All right. This is not mHealth. This is a MoFuse app. My startup is actually specced out with @LudigNation on Twitter, a QR code game for kids with dwarfism in the hospital. They're going through bone lengthening procedures, where they get an iPod, their QR code is on their patient band, it's at strategic locations around the hospital, and as they go through their treatments, they literally level up as they move up through the hospital treatment process. That's mHealth, but again, it's using the most valuable wireless device, the kid, right? These are just channels, they're just interfaces, they're just tools. This is mHealth. Health. What does that taste like? It tastes a lot different than the current mobile health. You can't really chew on that. This is mHealth. It's mood. It's what happens to me when I spend time with my family. Even though we are dressed up like Darth Vader here, listening to the Imperial March, practicing for this presentation. This is me and my niece Ellen. So, kind of a final question. We had a heavy, heavy day of talking about mobile, talking about the business models, talking about the possibilities. Are you feeling all right? You feeling a little bit better? Okay. I feel like I could take on the whole empire by myself, but I'm only one person. So I hope you'll join me in that. And this is a Get Up and Move user who is actually my mom. This is @Susan Lindsay on Twitter. Mom, I love you, you're amazing. This is a challenge in response to that movie with Sandra Bullock called The Proposal, where the grandmother's like dancing around the fire chanting, and it's to a very funny American rap song. So my mom put this on, there's a boombox in the background, lit a fire in her backyard, and literally did the dance challenge for me. She taught me two things about designing for mobile health, and when we think about what's possible. One, your user should always be able to say, I can do that. And two, your user should always say, wow, thank you. Oh, questions?
We need someone to volunteer with the mic. Are there any questions from the audience? There in the back. Steven.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hi.
It's on.
Is he on? Yeah. Hi, my name is Steven. First of all, thank you for a wonderful presentation. I think the Star Wars metaphors are very apt.
What's your question?
Yes. Good question.
Good.
I guess my question is the standard question of how do you as a company make money? And I don't mean this in a standard way like, you know, I want to make money too or something, but can you connect this to health somehow?
Absolutely. So the first application that we showed help, we decided to try it for free, but we found almost immediately that the business model would be very tricky. So the way that we framed it at the hackathon was we want this to be like OnStar for your mobile life. So the way to roll that out in terms of a business model would be to partner with a carrier or to partner with OnStar, for example, or one of the personal biometric trackers like Nike Plus to integrate that type of thing. We didn't launch that live publicly. It's just for those of us who downloaded the code, but you can look it up on Google App Engine and use it if you wish. We just were afraid of the legal and liability issues, but we haven't abandoned that app. The second app, Get Up and Move, is a web-based app where we started testing it. We'll do a consumer version where we'll sell the app on the mobile interface for the iPhone and the Nexus and the Droid phones. And then we'll also have insurers and employers and hospitals pay us to drop it as a module into their personal health, or electronic medical records, or their employee wellness platforms. And the payment end on that, the business model end, is very similar to the disease management models with companies like Eliza.com or telehealth companies like American Well, where it's a per user fee per quarter to white label the code, and then for every interaction there's a small transactional fee, and that's quite lucrative.
That's enough on the business model,
yeah, sorry.
I guess. Another question?
Hello, thank you for your talk. I was wondering, do you know how long do users stay active? Because you can say, well, my app is downloaded 10,000 times, but if they only are active members for a couple of days, well, that's a problem, I think. But can you say something about that? Because when something is new, it's popular, but after a few days, you get bored with it.
Exactly, so this is fascinating. Foursquare, Dennis Crowley, I can't believe I missed him. Dennis, if you're watching, text me. I need to talk to you about your mapping stuff. We found, similar to what we can see on Foursquare, Gowalla, some of the other location services, that there seems to be a 2-week cliff for our users, with Get Up and Move in particular, where it's a high activity level and then they kind of even out. The difficulty is to keep them engaged through that kind of cliff after the peak. And we thought, well, we don't know how to do that. The point-based and trophy systems on things like Foursquare, I could care less about being the mayor, but other personality types might like that. So we might build that in later. But what incentivizes you most to keep using is the people you know and the people you interact with every day. So if you integrate Twitter, Facebook, Hives, the other social networks, then your existing relationships motivate you to keep using. And we're finding that to be the case. Now, there is kind of a settling period. But contrary to our expectations, the number of completed Get Up and Move challenges, and we count them completed when user 1 and user 2 both check off they've done their part, are increasing per user exponentially as we go through the life of the app. And that app is only 7 or 8 weeks old now. We have also noticed another interesting emergent behavior, and we're pretty sure Foursquare has too, where it's like if your boyfriend or girlfriend rolls over in bed, you roll over in bed too. It's like a chain reaction. When someone checks in on Foursquare or tweets a Get Up and Move challenge, it sets off a chain reaction in their social graph. So to 3 degrees of separation, you see this weird ripple effect of, oh, that person did it. Yeah, okay, I do it too. But we're just learning how to quantify those behaviors.
Thanks. Let's do a final question from Yuri.
Very short.
Yeah.
What is your biggest surprise from the last year in terms of mobile health?
How far behind it is, and how curious people are. We don't know a lot of what we're doing at all, but it's been amazing to me that I've been able to talk to hospitals and health insurers who are willing to try these things for relatively small amounts of money. And so an encouraging future, I would guess, is a surprise, because I thought that it would just be kind of business as usual.
Okay. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you, Jen.
Thank you.